consent. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote on the consent item, minus number 5.
Councilmember Johnson? Vice Mayor Garcia?
I voted.
You're an aye?
Yeah.
Thank you. Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Thank you. Item number 5 on the consent calendar.
Item 5 is a report from the city attorney with recommendation to authorize the city attorney to pay various sums to 3 cases involving Rafael Arroyo, Alvaro Gara, and a lawsuit entitled Marina versus the city of Long Beach.
Yes,
Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Vice Mayor, we're requesting that the third item, the $8,000 proposed settlement regarding Myrena versus City of Long Beach be removed, and that only the first 2 items be approved.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor for the item on the consent calendar. Seeing no comment. Okay, so the second was Mr. Neal. Please cast your votes.
Councilmember Johnson? Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Moving on to the next item.
Item 12, which is unfinished business, which is a recommendation to adopt a resolution of intention to reestablish the Andy Street Multifamily Improvement District and set the date of Tuesday, December 4th, 2012 at 5 p.m. for a public hearing to receive petitions and designate the Andy Street Community Association as owners of the AMID. This is in District 9.
Is there a motion? Yes. Councilmember Neal.
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Second.
Excuse me, Mr. Vice Mayor, we have a quick report from Mike Conway on this.
Absolutely. Mr. Conway?
At this time, Vice Mayor and members of the City Council, we have not yet achieved the level of response necessary to proceed. I'd like to be able to continue this item to November 13th, continue the public hearing for this item to November 13th.
So moved.
Okay, that's a new motion. Is there a second? Okay, is there a second on Mr. Neal's, Councilmember Neal's motion? Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, members cast your votes.
Councilmember Austin? Motion carries 9 votes yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Item 13.
Item 13 is communication from the Mayor Bob Foster with a recommendation to cancel the council meeting of November 6, 2012 due to the general election.
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Neal seconded that motion. Any members wish to speak? Seeing none, any public comment on the item? Seeing none, members cast your votes.
Councilmember, thank you. Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Item 15.
Item 15 is communication from Financial Management and Parks with a recommendation to authorize the city manager to execute contracts with Azteca Landscaping and Mariposa Horticultural Enterprises, extending contracts for landscaping and maintenance services through March 31st, 2013 in an amount not to exceed $1 million. So moved.
Okay, there's a second. Okay, motion on the floor in a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, members cast your votes.
Motion carries.
Item
8 votes
16.
yes.
Item 16.
Report from the Human Resources Department with a recommendation to authorize city manager to execute an agreement for payment of property, boiler, and machinery insurance for the Southeast Resource Recovery Facility.
Okay, this is a District 2 item. Did Councilmember Lowenfeld, do you want to make the motion?
I would like to make a motion, thank you.
Second.
Okay, motion on the floor in a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Mr. Clerk, next item.
It's a report from Long Beach Gas and Oil with a recommendation to authorize city managers to enter into a physical gas commodity option agreement to provide customers with price protection terms that meet several conditions.
Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Mr. Councilmember Andrews, second.
Second.
Councilmember DeLong, second. Staff, is there anything quick you'd like to add?
Sure, Chris Carter can give a quick report.
This is very simple. We've done this since the California energy crisis back in 2000, when Long Beach gas bills rose by about $70 million over a 6-month period. And so what we do is we go out and when we purchase our somewhere between $40 and $50 million of natural gas for our customers, we now go out and do price hedging through the financial market and put price protection on our gas commodity purchases. And that protects our customers against unforeseen price hikes. And that's what we're trying to do tonight.
Thank you, sir. There's a motion on the floor. Any public comment? Seeing none, members, please cast your votes.
Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Item 18.
Item 18 is a recommendation to receive and file the application of Stephanie Lynn Carlo, doing business as Steamed Organic Vegetarian Cuisine for an original ABC license at 801 East 3rd Street in the 1st District.
And I'll make the motion. Is there a second? And I believe the conditions, you probably all have a copy of those there. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, members, cast your votes.
Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Item 19.
Item 19 is a recommendation to authorize city manager to execute a 1-year agreement between the City of Long Beach and Long Beach Public Transportation Company for disbursement of funds.
Okay. Motion on the floor. Any public comment on the item? Seeing none, members, cast your votes. Mr. Clerk, can you clear the board?
Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Thank you. And we're going to be moving on. I believe we have 2 new business items. Mr. Clerk, item 21.
Item 21 is a recommendation to receive and file the City Council authorities and memberships list.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor in a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, members, cast your votes.
Motion carries 8 votes yes.
Item 22.
Item 22 is communication from the office of Councilmember Stephen Neal, Councilmember Patrick O'Donnell, and Councilmember Al Austin with a recommendation to request the city attorney to prepare an ordinance amending the municipal code to implement a temporary construction preferential parking district for areas of the city subject to severe parking impacts due to temporary construction, and that the ordinance allow for compliance with several parameters related to construction duration, traffic engineer duties, signage, and permit limits.
Councilmember Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd first like to thank my colleagues, Councilmember Austin and also Councilmember O'Donnell, for co-sponsoring this item. And as all of you know, the 9th District is bordered by 5 municipalities, which include the city of Lakewood, Paramount, Bellflower, Compton, and unincorporated Los Angeles County. So occasionally our residents are impacted by projects that take place outside of our city, which we have almost no ability to regulate or mitigate. Most recently, our district has encountered a construction-related issue with a bordering city that has shined a light on a much larger problem for the city of Long Beach, related to how we protect our residents from short-term construction related to parking impacts. El Camino College in our neighboring city of Compton has begun construction on its facility and parking lots, lasting until approximately mid-year 2013. During the construction, the college has opened its east entrance to the campus, which opens to the College Square neighborhood in the city of Long Beach. This entrance is considerably closer to the classrooms and the campus main entrance, but it has effectively created a significant temporary impact to our residents as hundreds of students are seeking parking in the adjacent neighborhoods on a daily basis. While going through the process of finding a solution for our residents, we hit a significant roadblock in our municipal code. So our code prescribes for a process for establishing permanent preferential parking districts, but does not allow the flexibility to address a temporary parking challenge. Therefore, after reviewing with our city attorney's office and working with the traffic engineer, Dave Roseman, we feel that the creation of a temporary construction preferential parking program will allow us to take appropriate action to protect both the residents and the neighborhoods from temporary construction-related parking impacts. Now, just to be clear, we are not talking about a substitute to our existing preferential parking order. This would require the cost and time associated with extensive studies and permanent signage, but rather just allow our traffic engineer to address a more immediate short-term parking impact utilizing temporary solutions. So I would like to ask staff to explain to the council and the residents how a program like this would work. And secondly, to also elaborate on how this program could have remedy other construction-related problems throughout the city.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'm going to turn this over to our traffic engineer, David Roseman, who was very, very innovative in putting this program together.
Thank you. This is Dave Roseman, City Traffic Engineer. We're really excited about this process because we do construction throughout the city. And this process came to us as part of a brainstorming effort between my staff, Councilman Neal's staff, and the city attorney, and how do we address these type of temporary impacts. We have construction impacts from public works projects all over the city. One recently was on 7th Street, where we could have been able to provide residents along 7th Street some parking relief during that construction process, but we didn't have a method by which we could provide them a permit to allow them to be exempt from some of the temporary parking restrictions. So this process would be very simple in that once there was a construction impact duration of greater than 2 weeks, that we felt that would be too much of an impact on residents, then we would go into a situation where we would allow residents to park in construction-related areas or other areas to provide some relief for them through a permit process. I think most of this can be done through our construction, within the city through our construction process at relatively no cost. It'd be part of the regular construction process. And it definitely helps us in this specific situation in District 9, where we have no control over these impacts that are being generated from outside the city. So it would be a simple process by which we could establish parking restrictions with temporary signage and then provide residents with temporary permits to allow them to park and mitigate those impacts.
Thank you. Councilmember Neal, do you have any additional comments?
Yes, so as Mr. Roseman has stated, this is not to circumvent or replace our parking ordinance, which we have in place, but again, this is going to give us the ability to address problems that will arise anywhere within the city for a temporary solution. The permit will have a sunset. It could be 2 months, it could be 3 months, it could be 4 months, however long it takes for the construction to get done. These residents that are here tonight have been impacted greatly by an influx of students that would normally park on the college campus that are now parking in the neighborhoods. So it's making it very difficult for them to get to their residence and getting to work and things of that nature. So I would move that we adopt the temporary preferential parking program.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Councilmember Shipsky.
Mr. Vice, you and I discussed this today because, obviously we have a greatly impacted neighborhood with Long Beach City College. It's been an ongoing problem. And I will support this. It's unfortunate when we have the parking structure at Long Beach City College that my residents didn't get any kind of relief out of a free preferential parking. So what I'd like to ask you, because you and I talked about bringing this up tonight, is if you could explore with Long Beach City College. I understand that there is an arrangement with Cal State Long Beach that Mr. O'Donnell was telling me that a portion of the parking tickets written in the preferential district area are actually used to defray the costs for the residents' parking permits. Is that correct?
No, it's Cal State Long Beach provides a subsidy, so
right,
they pay.
But what I understand, Mr. O'Donnell, correct me because he just told me this, that it's from actually, they write parking tickets. And a portion of that comes out of there.
That part I'm not aware of.
Okay. Well, if we could explore that maybe with Long Beach City College, because I know it's our police and others that write the parking tickets in the neighborhood. Perhaps we could work out somewhere that a portion of that revenue could be used to defray the cost, because the inconvenience for the residents over there of having their neighborhoods impacted. So if we can just at some point explore it, we can do it offline, but You and I talked about this today, and you said bring it up during the agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members want to speak on the item? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open this up to public comment. And if you please just identify yourself at the mic, and we'll start your 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'm Linda Wilson. I'm a